Thank you for that explanation. I mean, you've already kind of touched on a lot of things and you've given some great nuggets. But I know some may say, well, I have children. Yeah, I can't get out right now. This is hard. How I'm going to make it? Like, what kind of advice would you have for that individual who was like, especially say if I don't know if this was the case with you and your husband, but say if it is a single mother, or she doesn't want to be a single mother, she don't have money, like what kind of advice can you give that person that's staying because she doesn't know how she's going to actually make it financially?
So there is, like you said, I had a village, and I tell you this, I didn't think I had a village, right? Like there was just people around. There were people around, and I was serving them, because that's how I express, right? So I'm a volunteer on the board of this organization, and of course, I have my family members. And he had isolated me from being like a member of a church, but there were church people I knew, right? And I would volunteer at their events sometimes, and they'd come over to my events sometimes, right? So there was people around, and um, the way things shook out, because there was a mental health crisis in my family. Um, Department of Children and Service was involved, which was a nightmare, but also really important, because when DCF is in your house 3 times a week, and you find out about a murder plot, there are some resources they can help you, and there are domestic violence advocates in every community, and you can find them. And there's a 1-800 number for abuse. I think it's 499 help. I might be wrong, but there's a 800 number crisis line. You could go online. There's a crisis hotline there too, where you can text, or you can just type in the chat and tell somebody that you need some help, or you just have some questions, right? There are resources available that can help you. And by God's grace, I had resources available. And I'll tell you this, I didn't have to figure out any of the steps. It was just like they were at my house all making noise, and causing stress. And I told them, this is what's going. I found out about a murder plot, and I just was like, this is what's happening in my life. I didn't ask for no help. I was just like, this is what's happening. And they said, here's this card. Call this number. And I didn't have to figure out what happened after I called the number. I just called the number. And then they said, make an appointment and come in. And I didn't have to figure out what was going to happen after that. I just made the appointment and I just showed up. And then I told the lady what was happening, and she said, here, do this. And I just had to do the next thing. So you don't have to figure out 10 steps down the road, just like the first one. And then when you get there, God will show you the next one. And when you get there, he'll show you the next one. And that's it, one step at a time.
Great information. Great information. Like it's like man, oh man. So was there ever a point, because I know you say 2020 came, things slowed down, or it's like it seemed like the world stopped, and that's for all of us. It didn't matter if what financial bracket you were in, it affected everyone, right? In your moment or time of escape, or remaining away from your ex-husband, was there ever a time that you thought about like, no, maybe I should just go back, maybe, um I should just forgive him and just go back? Have you had those thoughts or feelings?
No.
Okay.
But that wasn't our first separation. So I got married in 2010, and I had my first baby in 2011. And in 2012, before I had my second baby, we were separated. And it was over adultery. And I'd gone to counseling, and I tried to take him to counseling, and he'd say good things, but there'd be no change. Like he just liked some strange in his inbox. And I was going to either take that or not, and I knew that he wouldn't stop. So if I said stop cheating on me or I'll leave, I knew I would have to leave, because he wasn't going to stop. And so I did, and I left. And at that time, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be the single mom. Like, is that it? Is that what's gonna happen now? And I didn't want that. Um, I didn't want that, and I felt like it was gonna mess up my record somehow, right? If you're a high achieving woman, you're used to doing things right all the time, the first time, and having good records and like having a certain kind of a reputation. And I thought somehow if I divorced, it would mess up my reputation. That's not what good girls do. That's not what smart women do. You know, don't you have your stuff together? What's your problem? And it's crazy. Like none of that internal monologue had anything to do with him or his sin. It was like, it was like, you keep yourself together and you have this baby in wedlock. And so I went back. He wasn't sorry. He didn't do what he was supposed to do to make things better. He barely, I don't even think he apologized. I don't think he apologized. I think I was just gone for a while and then I went back and had my second baby. And so I'd been on the roller coaster a bit. And even before the longer separation, there were like, I'm going to take a weekend, you know, I'm going to take a day. I did some of that, you know, after emotional abuse and arguments and stuff. And I went back several times. But by the time my life was in danger, no, no, we're not trying to go back. No.
Definitely a story of redemptive power, the redemptive power of Christ, and how the Lord kept you in the midst of it all. Um, man, I'm like, what can I ask now? Like, because you're truly an inspiration to a lot of different people, and I think not even just those in the faith, those who are not in the faith, you know, and just so people can see, like, you know what, if she can do it, I can do it. And I don't have to have this huge master plan of how I'm going to do it. I just need to take the first step. And the first step might be just talking to someone, or it could be calling the abuse hotline just to get out. Just to get out. Now, how do, mm, let's see, has he tried to contact you all, or you wouldn't know if he tried to contact you all?
I don't speak to kind of the current
Oh, yeah,
status.
yeah. I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
It's yeah, until it's a Lifetime movie, but right now it's like my real life. So
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes. No, no, I totally get that. I do apologize. I forgot we did discuss that. But I didn't I just didn't know, because sometimes people, they try to get in contact or whatever, but no, we'll save that for the movie. For the premiere. Y'all listen up. Wait for the movie, right? Um what advice would you have told yourself before you said I do?
that's a good question. And honestly, I would tell myself you're gonna make it. Um, you're gonna make it. And life's worth living. I spent a long time, you know, suicidal. I was really hopeless. Because I believed that I couldn't divorce, that was sin. If I divorced, I couldn't remarry because that was sin. So I had to just, you know, it wasn't going to change. He wasn't going to change to make my life better, and I couldn't make my life better. And I was really, really hopeless. So I would tell myself, um, life is worth living, and beliefs are not, um, I don't know the word. I want to say like not set in stone, right? We're so sure of ourselves, but and sincere, but we can be sincerely wrong. And I was sincerely wrong on a couple of really important points. I was sincerely wrong, and it's okay to allow yourself to evolve and to learn different things. Um, and different parts of God. And there's definitely purpose in the story in my life. There's definitely purpose. And I think one of those purposes is knowing who God is in different ways, in new ways. You know him to be a sustainer. I know him to be a sustainer. I know him to be a protector. I know him to be a restorer. I know him as a faithful friend. When I tell you, folks would call me who I don't know every time homeboy made a move. I would get a call. That still happens from people I don't know who found my information, was like, are you still married to so and so? At the time, I was like, yeah. Well, here's what happened. He's over here and he's with so and so, and this is what they're doing. I didn't ask for those updates. That's straight up God being faithful. Straight up God being faithful. He had arranged for this person who he had run off to, before he ran off to her. He had arranged for her to come to our house, and their plan was to kill me and to take the kids and to live in the house. That was, I didn't say it was the smartest plan, but that was their plan. And he had told my children, there was all sorts of things that corroborated the story. So it wasn't just like some person told me and that was it. Like, my kids knew pieces of their plans. He had told them, your mom's gonna die before the year's out. And like, they were 6 and 7, or like 7 and 8. If you can imagine telling a 7-year-old, you know. Anyway, he had told them that this other woman's gonna come. He had told them to call her mother so and so, her name, and they're going to spend some time in a hotel room, and they're going to have pizza with this lady, and dad's going to handle some business. I was the business. And then they were going to all be together as a family. So in the midst of me going to be safe, there was a time I left the first house, but wasn't quite in the second house. And I had to stay at a hotel. I got pizza. And I remember sitting in there that first day, that went for, it was the first night, like, he didn't know where I was because we were no longer in that house. And I remember feeling both safe and afraid at the same time. And I had gotten my girls pizza because we needed to eat. And I remember thinking about that story and like, oh, look what God is doing. Look what God is doing. There was something he had wanted to attack me with, and he told someone later that he was going to attack me with this thing that I had broken in a fit of rage. And I'm laughing because it's funny to think about it from this vantage point, but like, it's like, I broke the murder weapon. I broke the weapon. I was sitting in the corner like, oh, I can't believe it. It's outrageous. So when I tell you God is faithful, like, his hand was in all of it before I even knew what was happening. So it shows me that so much of life that we don't know, like, he's arranging the pieces.
Yes.
And he's a master storyteller. He's a master illustrator.
Yes, yes, he really is. He, but I was thinking about it, I don't know, it just popped into my head about like Sherlock Holmes and trying to find all these mystery pieces, and it's like I broke the piece. I broke what he was going to use to kill me, but no. And the beautiful thing about you laughing, our joy, the joy of the Lord is our strength. You have some people, because I know even for myself, and I share my testimony, I share my story, and people will be like, why is she smiling, why is she laughing, this isn't funny. Like, don't project your pain and
Misery.
fear and misery, yeah, on me, because I know where my help comes from. And when I think about the things that God has brought me through, man, sometimes I laugh at myself, like, what in the world, you know? So just like with you, so it's just refreshing to be able to sit here and us having this conversation and you're laughing about these things. I mean, you're pretty jovial anyway when I'm, watching your videos, and it's a beautiful thing to laugh about what God has brought you through and to be where you're at right now. Now, in the midst of it, it's like, nah, this kind of, I'm trying to survive, bro. Like,
Yeah.
but God carried you through all of that. He carried you. He carried you, man, oh man. So how can people, because I know you have, can you talk about some of your retreats that you have, and if you have any women retreats coming up?
Yes. So I told you I had been coaching for like 20 years, and so when everything happened, I was really mad. I was mad at God, and I was like, clearly I don't know what I'm talking about because all of this is happening. And there was a lot I had to like come to terms with and come to peace with. And 2020 I didn't do a darn thing because the world had stopped. And I, in the midst of all the crisis, the psychologist that was at my house 3 times a week with child services was like, write yourself a timeline of everything that happened and when it happened, like dates and occurrence, and date and occurrence. Like, it helps you stay grounded. And she was absolutely right. It was also helpful in court, and it became the spine, the basis of the book that you're showing on the screen right now. And the book is called I Choose Life: Rewrite Your Love Story and Change Your Legacy. And we're not just talking about your romantic love story. And we don't start in the book just about domestic violence in a marriage. We talk through childhood and what predisposes us to be okay with a certain kind of treatment. Because we have to start in the beginning if we're going to get healed and be healed and walk free. And so the book is where I would tell anyone to start. And you can find that at the reboundcoach.com/book, which is right here on the screen. I also, my best friend, and I was not trying to do anything else. Like, I was not. And so my best friend had a crisis with a police officer. She lived in Chicago and was there at the time, and she almost died for peeing while black. You're gonna have to ask her that story. I'm not even gonna tell her story. But
Okay.
yeah, but she had a whole crisis. And you know, she's like me. She's the kind of person that's always serving, always giving, always helping. And there was no one to be there for her in her time of crisis. And so she petitioned God for a response, for some, like, I have to do something. I have to turn this into something positive. And God gave her this idea for a retreat called Sanctuary. And so she comes to my house and she's like, so let's do this thing. And I was like, okay. Because God had given me, even in 2019, God had given me there was just stuff in my belly that just had not been birthed. And I was trying to like not do anything. But it's when she was talking about it, that feeling like something started rumbling. Like, oh, I got to do it. So since then, since 2021, we have been hosting 3-day VIP healing retreats for women twice a year. And so 2 in 2021, 2 in 2022, 2 in 2023. And we did one in the spring this year. So this will be our 8th event. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. But we spend 3 days at the beach. It's a come away with me retreat, which means, you're not bouncing back and forth to home. You are coming away with me. People fly in to experience this. It's 3 days of transformation, healing journeys, spa experiences. We have a water session as well. It's just incredible and intimate and powerful and hilarious. And we have a blast. And it's phenomenal. It's coming up soon. So that's kind of the big retreats. I have some other smaller events, and I coach. So if you're a woman who's experienced betrayal, trauma, or abuse and would like to love yourself, maybe for the first time, I'm someone who can walk you through that process, either individually, or I do group coaching offerings as well. And speaking, I forgot to say that. If you're having a women's event, having an event, virtual or in person, and would like a facilitator to help walk people through that self-love God's way, also, I'm your girl.
Self-love God's way. Yes. And I'll be honest, when I first seen the title of your book, and I was like, oh, okay, rewrite your love story. Okay, girl. Just thinking about getting into a relationship. But how can we truly love someone else when we don't love ourselves? Even scripture mentions, to love your neighbor as you love yourself. So I can't love you if I don't love me. So that's beautiful. And you said you're taking it all through like childhood and different traumas, and which is a very, very beautiful thing. So yeah, thank you so much, Dallas. Now, do you have the date for the sanctuary?
Yes, Sanctuary
Okay.
Experience is September 20th through 22nd of 2024. That's a Friday through a Sunday. And we're
Okay.
in West Central Florida. So it'll be Clearwater Beach, Indian Rocks Beach, one of those on the west central part of Florida. I love the water. So the beach is part of our experience.
Yes.
And it's incredible. So you can find more information about that at the reboundcoach.com/sanctuary. Or if you don't remember that, if you just go to the reboundcoach.com, there's a button that says sanctuary right at the front.
Okay. And then there's also where people can actually book you if they wanted you to come and speak or if they needed some coaching.
Yes. There's a contact form on the website, or you can just contact me via social media. If you're watching this, you're on social media. You can Facebook, The Rebound Coach, Instagram, The Rebound Coach. You can search The Rebound Coach on YouTube. Those are the major ones. I'm not on X or TikTok, but you can find me in the other places: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. The
Yes.
Rebound Coach.
Yes, yes. And because you also, because they can also go back and look at some of your videos that you have posted as well to get like resources.
Yes.
Resources are here. I think you even was there like like if someone needed to do like a payment plan for the sanctuary experience, they can definitely do that too, right?
Absolutely. Don't let anything stop you. Sanctuary experience is not free. It's
Yes,
not free. And
right.
it's depending on what you're looking at, not cheap. However, there's no one who's ever come to me and said, I need to be there and we haven't found a way. So don't let anything stop you. Don't let anything stop you. This is your one life and you can live broken or you can live whole.
Yes,
It's your decision.
that is beautiful. Any final words of encouragement that you would like to give to anyone listening?
I would just say that there are no accidents. And if you're here watching this right now, it's because you're supposed to. And either it's for you or for someone you care about. But bring this message to them. Bring them a message of hope. Bring them a message of healing. And if it's you, take that next step. If that's, I need to get the book, I need to talk to Dallas, I need to get the sanctuary experience. Whatever that step is, make it. Make it. We're not promised tomorrow. We're really not. And in the days that we're walking in, if you want to improve the quality of your days, no one's coming to do that for you. You have to do the step for yourself. And if you and I are here in this moment, I believe that there's divine intervention happening, and it's up to you to make the next step.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Freaking yes. So you all see here on the screen, available now, Choose Life by Dallas Kohen. Definitely check out this book. Request her services if you're really serious about your healing. Healing is a lifelong journey. It's never too late to start. You're never too young, never too old. Get the healing that you need. Great resources. It looked like Dallas have both the ebook and the paperback book. Reach out, reach out. So, without further ado, that's going to be the conclusion of our experience today. Choose life with the Rebound Coach Dallas Kohen. Redemption and recovery. When suppressed wounds begin to heal. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for just being you and all of you and sharing yourself with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been such an honor.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Hold on one second.